snarstanra. Skadlausi la. Can I found we gather side for your arms that such as it. Get out past the grease. Wines are stiff. If the shit is a bit doing this, Nick long get your vet. If the shit is as it, get your vet. Nice, this night. Ladies and gentlemen, I seem to have come unstuck from the forward motion of time and was speaking in reverse for a moment there, but all is well. It's just one of those things that happens on New Artilia. Calm yourself. It has been 1,352 days since we have been liberated, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, from the tyranny of freedom. This is your daily reminder of how good you have had it since the Artilian extraterrestrial invasion and subjugation 1,353 days ago, which succeeded after a battle with human forces lasting roughly 11 and a half minutes. All hail Artilia. All hail the eyes in the sky. I'm your host, Landon Harker, and here's how good you have it today. Never before in the history of the planet formerly known as Earth has there ever been a more perfect political system than now exists on New Artilia. However, it seems that some citizens fail to recognize the extent of its greatness, and it's a real f***ing shame. The Artilian Division of Human Activity, which can only be explained by mental health disorders, is addressing rumors of curious longings for bizarre concepts like freedom and justice, and their origin remains completely unexplained. Recently, Artilian psychologists have discovered the root cause of this widespread unhappiness, a form of madness they have termed lame schizophrenia. This peculiar affliction manifests when individuals exhibit outward normalcy while secretly harboring notions of societal reform and revolution, which is considered a clear and present sign of insanity. Symptoms outlined in contemporary psychological literature include revolutionary delusions, a persistent, quote, seeking of truth, and unwavering perseverance in demanding answers to basic questions. It's sad, no? Dissidents who persist in the desire for so-called improvement of New Artilian society will soon find themselves confined within mental institutions with dedicated teams of psychologists tirelessly working to cure them of this sickening disease. Or they'll be shot behind the right ear on sight. It's hard to say, really. In the arts and entertainment landscape of New Artilia, humor follows a strict regulatory framework. Comedians are obligated to submit their entire repertoire of jokes to the Artilian Division of You Will Laugh, goddammit, a division within the Artilian Division of Odd Specificity. Approval of each comedian's set must be obtained before a single joke can be told. Naturally, any jokes that criticize Artilia or exhibit even the slightest hint of transgressiveness are strictly forbidden. Even jokes concerning the former United States must be carefully censored. That said, comedians often find themselves with a meager selection of harmless jokes about airplane food, surprisingly mild, or harsh weather, their mothers-in-law, or, oddly enough, rape. Though jokes involving rape are restricted to well-loved cartoon characters raping less-loved cartoon characters. Though the well-loved and less-loved characters are not the ones you're probably thinking of. Comedians are forbidden to improvise. To keep their acts fresh, comedians resort to stealing jokes from one another. An act condoned as long as the material has been approved. And why not? It worked for Robin Williams. Rest in peace, Mork. The Artilian Division of Religious Freedoms wishes to inform you that they have not made and will not make any mandate or regulation regarding which religions are acceptable and how they are practiced. That said, absolute atheism is strongly encouraged, and those who have seen the light will be rewarded, while those who refuse to see the light will be severely punished. You may be thinking this means that the Artilian Division of Religious Freedoms is attempting to systematically eradicate religion in every corner of New Artilia. Nothing could be further from the truth. Also, apropos of nothing, atheism is the officially endorsed scientific truth on New Artilia. Museums of atheism have been established in place of religious institutions in every major city. Families throughout are strongly encouraged to visit these museums to witness exhibits showcasing the evils of religion. Topics cover a broad spectrum, ranging from how the Catholic Church definitely fueled wars to accusations of financial motives behind organizations like the Salvation Army. Scary stuff, comrades. It is comforting to know both that we are free to practice any religion we choose and that we will be rewarded for being smarter than that. In Indian Ocean news, the Indian Ocean is now free of water and will henceforth be known as the Indian Basin or Indian Canyon. The name is a work in progress. Suffice it to say, when referring to traveling by boat or ship, one must now say traveling the 6 seas. It's going to take some getting used to. It's not quite as catchy, is it? In sports news, the Artilian Division of Football Regulations, that's football, not football, you know. For Americans, it's called soccer. I'm pretty sure the Limeys call it footy, or the football, which is an unnecessary preposition and takes longer than it needs to say. Not that I have any biases about how awful and boring football, or soccer may be. I simply report the news. I do not make it. Anyway, the Artilian Division of Football Regulations has decreed that the only type of football that may be played on New Artilia is so-called eternal football. What does that mean, you may ask? What are the rules? It sounds interesting. Well, I'm about to tell you. Jesus Christ, give me a second. Let me talk, all right? The Eternal Football Match, a captivating sporting event, is currently underway, keeping spectators on the edge of their seats. This unique game, designed to continue indefinitely, is to deliver an extraordinary experience for fans. The roar of the crowd, the electricity in the air, the excitement. You are listening to Mayhem. In this thrilling match, 2 teams are locked in fierce competition on the football field, aiming to score goals and emerge victorious. However, a peculiar rule has transformed this game into an unending saga. Whenever a team successfully scores, an immediate goalkeeper swap takes place. The scoring team's goalkeeper transitions to the defending side, while the defending team's goalkeeper joins the attackers. This strategic twist ensures that the team scoring a goal faces a disadvantage in the subsequent phase of the game. The consequences of this rule are remarkable. As the match unfolds with a perpetually shifting dynamic, each goal sparks a thrilling sequence where the scoring team finds themselves outnumbered during subsequent attacks. Their challenge becomes twofold, defending their own goal while attempting to overcome the overwhelming odds. The elusive nature of a decisive victory adds an element of suspense, leaving both teams striving relentlessly to seize control of the match. The Eternal Football Match has become a magnet for a multitude of spectators drawn to the enthralling spectacle taking place before their eyes. The intensity of the game has already gripped the audience, with hours of nonstop action showcasing the team's unwavering determination to score while defying formidable opposition. And most important of all, as the pitch is guarded by armed security forces and a single Artilian governor, the game only really, truly ends when every player is dead. Not that I'm saying that's a good thing. Again, I have no opinion. And now, a message from the Artilian Division of Poorly Translated Rallying Speeches. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and those who have inexplicably found themselves entangled in this tumultuous tempest of verbosity, I stand before you today with a fervor that defies reason, with words that shall ignite the flames of confusion and leave you pondering the meaning of your own existence. In this cacophony of rhetorics, I implore you to unleash the depths of your senses and embrace the whirlwind of absurdity that engulfs us. Let our spirits soar on the wings of preposterousness, for in the realm of nonsensicality lies the true essence of enlightenment. Behold the majestic spectacle of our endeavors, like a flock of polka-dotted flamingos dancing in harmonious chaos. We shall traverse the uncharted territories of absurdity, leaving behind a trail of bemused bewilderment. With words that ricochet through the chambers of reason, we shall shatter the shackles of logical coherence and bask in the glorious pandemonium that ensues. Let us summon the metaphysical unicorn of nonsensical brilliance, forged in the fires of paradoxical paradoxes. Its radiant mane of illogicality shall cascade upon our heads, bestowing us the power to transcend the boundaries of rationality. With each breath, we inhale the ambrosia of comedic transcendence, exhaling laughter that reverberates through the halls of cosmic absurdity. In this grand tapestry of linguistic delirium, let not a shred of coherence linger, from the tiniest fragment of bewildering whimsy to the grandest display of linguistic acrobatics. We shall revel in the symphony of incomprehensibility. Like a swarm of Jabberwockies serenading the moon, our words shall weave a tapestry of confounding brilliance, leaving audiences gasping for elucidation that shall never come. So, my dear compatriots of the nonsensical revolution, let us march forward, armed with the mightiest of paradoxes and the most bewildering of puns. Let our words resonate like the booming laughter of a cosmic jester, shaking the very foundations of rationality. Remember, my friends, the true path to enlightenment lies not in the realm of logical certainty, but in the absurdity that dances at the fringes of reason. Embrace the chaos, revel in the whimsy, and let us ascend together to the dizzying heights of nothing. In conclusion, I leave you with this nonsensical mantra. Fizzle-bop, bipper-flop, zippity-zap, zoppity-zoop. Let the gibberish guide you, for in the midst of confusion lies the key to eternal nothingness and amusement. Thank you again, and may the irrationality be ever with you. Don't f*** with roses! The Artilian chief botanist, with a name that cannot be pronounced by the human tongue, is particularly fond of roses and has discovered that any action performed on said plant would be inherited by its offspring. According to the aforementioned Artilian botanist, plucking the leaves off of a rose will result in leafless descendants. And what a goddamn shame that would be. Who wants to look at a leafless rose? The very idea makes me want to shit myself and die. Despite there being no scientific evidence or whatever for this, the concept has resonated within the Artilian division of colorful park strolls and adheres to their assumptions about the transitive properties of violence. Consequently, the Artilian botanist theory is now mandated for support by all scientists, no matter the discipline, who are legally obligated to both adhere to this policy of plucking no leaves and to denounce dissenters. Scientists who dissent risk imprisonment and at times execution in the friolator. Scientists who do not work with or interact with roses within their own chosen field must now purchase roses from local provisioning centers so they can be kept for the express purpose of not being pruned. Seriously, folks, do not prune the roses. It ain't worth it. The word obey has its origins in Old French. It can be traced back to the Latin word obedire, which means to obey or to listen to. Obedire is a combination of the prefix ob, meaning towards or in the direction of, and audire, meaning to hear. The concept of obedience is often associated with listening and following instructions or commands. Over time, the word obey was adopted into Middle English from Old French, retaining its meaning of compliance and submission. Unsurprisingly, the word of the day is obey. In history, the USSR was characterized by political repression, censorship, and human rights abuses. Dissenting voices and political opposition were often suppressed, with limited freedom of speech and assembly. State control over various aspects of society, including the media and the economy, was pervasive. The regime under Joseph Stalin in particular was marked by mass purges, forced collectivization, and the Great Famine of Ukraine, which resulted in millions of deaths. The Gulag system, a network of forced labor camps, was another notorious aspect of the Soviet regime. Deaths under this system were vast and brutal, with the following number of people dying per event. The Red Terror, 2 million. Dekulakization, 5 million. Gulags, 2.5 million. The Great Purge, 1.2 million. Deportation of national minorities, 1.5 million. Repression outside of famine, 12.5 million. The Soviet famine of 1930 to 1933, 8.7 million. The Soviet famine of 1946 to 1947, 2 million, for a total death toll of 23,455,000 people. The loss of life is simply one metric used to judge the brutality of the Soviet system, while the real human toll is much higher, with those who survived haunted by memories of those traumatic events and the loss of their loved ones. Also, the Artillery Division of Terror, which is to reach back into the past and inform the USSR that those numbers are, cute. Really, it's a good, solid attempt. But we do those numbers before breakfast, and we love the smell of genocide in the morning. It smells like, mostly it doesn't consist of smells that are conducive to breakfast, but it also smells like order. And nothing smells better than order tastes. I may be mixing metaphors there. I got a little lost. Point is, Artillians kill a lot of people, but only the bad ones. You can stop shaking and crying now. You'll be fine. Go on. Eat your breakfast. If you open your window, you'll smell the righteous death of millions of troublemakers. All hail, Artillia. All hail the eyes in the sky. All is well. All is well. All is well. Remember, the ducks are drones. And that makes me think of a joke I think I'm allowed to tell. What's the difference between your mother-in-law and a mallard with a cold? Well, one's a sick duck. You can guess the rest. Mayhem is a Wetwork Media production starring Landon Harker. It is written and produced by Dan Lauer. All music is provided courtesy of Kevin MacLeod and licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. To learn more, visit incompetech.com.